if Santa Anita is as good as I think it's gonna be, I think I'm gonna switch back to pretty much California being my main circuit and just following that all year. Santa Anita and Del Mar, and then Keeneland.
This fall meet for Santa Anita looks sweet. I don't do a lot of California racing though, but I can definitely try it out over Saratoga.
Yeah, it's less. I mean, like the dirt races kind of suck in California with like the Bafferts just winning or that type of stuff. But the turf racing's really good. I mean, the fact that Del Mar gets a lot of big fields, so it's good. And just the Del Mar dirt has played so speed favoring and so like weird that Santa Anita is speed favoring, but it plays a little bit more fair. Um, but yeah, and they got the dollar pick six back. So and they did close that Golden Gate or whatever, which kind of sucks, but it will racing unfortunately kind of needs that now because they need the horses to run. Like that's what Santa Anita the last few years has suffered because they have such small fields. But that should increase the horse population where you might get bigger competitive fields on a more regular basis. So I'm looking
Yeah, I
forward to
hope
that.
so. But yeah,
Yeah, we'll
because
see.
when it's like not a huge day at Santa Anita, you see a lot of like 5 and 6 horse races that just aren't that fun.
Yeah, no, exactly. But yeah, I'm pretty much. Yeah, I think I'm done with paying as close attention to New York. There's just too much BS.
Yeah, I've always been a New York hater. I just gave uh, Saratoga a shot this year, and I felt like there was a lot of like concentrated stakes races more than usual. So I was following it for a bit, but yeah, I much prefer Kentucky. I like the Florida stuff. I'll give the California stuff a shot before I go back to Saratoga.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely will pay attention. Like, I'll still track the turf trips and stuff, and hopefully, like, um, there you can get some good New York turf racing when like all the jockeys and stuff go to Gulfstream in like November, where it's like all the big name barns and Irad and all them leave. Then it's kind of it can be a lot better. Um,
Yeah, sometimes the off seasons are better at certain tracks.
yeah, but we'll see. K- Have you been playing Kentucky Downs?
I mean the days that it's been on, yeah. Um, they only have a few days, I guess. I played
Yeah,
Thursday, Saturday, a couple Sunday, and then yeah, I think that's been it. But I'm gonna keep playing it until next week we get Churchill Downs back. I'm excited for that. Was killing it there earlier.
yeah, they definitely Churchill's definitely the best dirt racing, but they're not gonna have turf racing this fall, which I fucking hate.
Yeah, that does kind of suck.
But but I will say Churchill definitely has the best like fairest track and and big dirt fields too.
Yeah, I feel like you can definitely kind of handicap for searching for a bias or the setup and the pace of the race a bit more at Churchill. That's what I hated about Saratoga this meet. It was just like it didn't matter. You just basically pick one of the two top trainers or owners for the race, and that's probably who's going to win, regardless of the jockey, regardless of the pace setup. It was just so weird.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's the worst. It's yeah, just it's very it's like just feel like a moron for putting in work to try and beat
Yeah, I probably would have been
Chad
better off
Brown.
not even buying people.
Yeah, I would have been better off not betting at all. It's definitely
Yeah,
down for the
exactly.
meat.
Yeah. All right. Did you get a chance to look at these couple races for this Thursday, Kentucky Downs?
Yep. Yeah, I looked at them. Is there any particular reason you like a few horses in these races?
I actually picked these races because if you bet on First Bet or Express Bet right now, they have a money back offer on these races. So I'm like, I'm gonna bet other stuff, but I'm definitely betting these races, especially if I can like get some of my money back, even if I lose. So I thought it'd be a good like
Nice.
just pick a couple different races. They seem like fun races. Handicap, do a quick hitter, and then I might play these as like a sequence as well, like some pick threes or something. Once I dig a little more deeper into the card.
Sounds good.
Let's do it then. I starting off. We're doing 5, 7, 9. Those are the money back races on First Bet, Express Bet. I think all their partners have it, so definitely worth checking out. But race 5, 1.5 miles on the turf, optional claimer 80 grand. I like 2 horses in this race, and you can get them both at a price. And I'll say which one I'm going to end up playing, but I'll just talk about them both because I think they both have a similar setup. And I'm going just kind of on the same bias I've been seeing at Kentucky Downs this whole meet so far, which is you can't be too far off the pace going into that outside turn. I haven't seen almost any horse do it more than 2 links back. So following that bias, I'm going to go with Relampago Verde, the number 2, with Brian Hernandez Jr. on him. I've liked this horse a lot recently, and I think it was kind of meant for longer turf races, and they had him racing on the dirt start off, and he's just been getting better and better on the turf. Won at 1.5 miles. It's only his first turf race after maiden, second turf race total, and Brian's been on him since breaking the maiden. Good speed figures, likes to get out front, has that endurance for 1.5 miles. He's shown it. I think last race he sat on a slow pace and then just got ran down by some bigger horses, some better horses, and I don't really see that class of horse in this race. So I think he's going to be on the lead, setting the pace, and he's the horse to catch. And I haven't seen a lot of horses catching the horse to catch at Kentucky Downs. So I like Relampago Verde. And then I also like the 9. I'd rather be blessed with Rafael Bajarano. Good speed figures out last. Has ran 1.5 miles before on the dirt on the off track, but definitely has the endurance for it. Also, just has good early speed, similar to Relampago Verde. That's going to get out quick. Probably challenge Relampago Verde, if not be the pacemaker. Probably just be the presser. But I see it coming down to basically these 2 horses pressing each other until in that last stretch run, and just seeing who has the more who lasts longer. Third off a layoff where I'd rather be blessed, and has been improving the last 2 races. So you expect to see a little. If you see any similar speed figure to last out or a little jump in improvement, I think has a good shot at winning. Only potential worry with this horse is it doesn't or hasn't won a lot at distance. It's been finishing close, second, third, a couple links back. So that's why I think I'd put Relampago Verde on top. But one thing I'm going to be doing in these Kentucky Down races as well is like minimum bet exactas and daily doubles, and just putting in like all the speed horses. So I'll be running like I'd rather be blessed, Relampago Verde, maybe some of the mid pack horses, King Curlin, like on an exacta, just box all those horses on a cheap whatever $1 ticket is, whatever the minimum is. And if you hit on a chalky one, you're gonna make your money back. But if you hit some of these like 10-to-1s in first and second place, you get paid pretty well even at like the small domination. So that's gonna be how I start playing these last few days at Kentucky Downs. What'd you think of this?
Yeah, I like the way you're thinking. Yeah, honestly, it kind of turned me off after watching the first few days of Kentucky Downs. It was kind of like similar to Saratoga, but where
Speed
it's like
bias has been heavy.
you might as well throw out the form or the replays.
Yeah.
And you'd have some like Joe Sharp horses that are running off the screen by like 30 lengths on the turf.
Hmm.
So there's been some crazy crazy stuff going on. Definitely a huge speed bias. I'm of those two, I prefer the 9. I had this one second in my. I just think that that's the one that's going to get the lead. I mean, 40 at a half length off that, going a mile and a quarter is pretty insane pace. I don't know if the track was playing really fast that day or what, but to press that pace and still easily win going that distance, that's pretty impressive. But I do like the what you're thinking with the 2 there. I mean, if it's not on the lead, it'll sit probably second, and with that bias, and has definitely been facing some tougher horses. The race at Saratoga was good, but I have to play a 5. Clyde's Got a Gun in here. That this is probably my favorite horse of the sequence. I mean, it's gonna have to come against the bias, so maybe you want to use this horse underneath, but I think this horse has got a major chance. 2 back at Churchill. I thought he ran really well. She was 3 wide in the first turn, 3 wide second turn, finished best, galloped out in front. So that was a sneaky big effort. And then last time at Ellis Park in the stakes race, had the 10 post, was wide, had no chance trip. So um, this one draws inside for the first time in a while. It was 10 post last time, 7 7 6 8 6. So gets a mid pack. It should save a little bit more ground today. This trainer is really good, even though it's a small barn. 21% on the year with 24 starters with a plus $2.04 ROI. So huge ROI flat on just this trainer starters. So Clyde's Got a Gun. I think if it gets a good trip, is a big shot here.
Okay. Yeah, like there's a lot of closing horses that I love here at Kentucky Downs this meet, and I just can't bet them. Like I haven't
Yeah.
seen them come more than like let me look at this on Brisnet real quick. It says so this is still last meet stats, I think, but they ran 2.5 mile races, mile and a half on the turf. First call, average length back 1.5. Second call, 0 links. Like that's just
Yeah.
crazy at a mile and a half. You know,
Yeah. No.
there's some late speed horses I like even in this race that I just couldn't get to them.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I definitely agree. I know if I didn't mention that one, um, based on all my notes and stuff, I know. Um, I just, yeah, I don't know. It's just the horse I got to play, but I agree. I'd probably maybe play those 2 speed horses and then this one underneath in an exacta or try something like that.
Yeah, that's a horse I'm definitely going to be betting if he comes to Kentucky Downs or where would he be running on turf in Kentucky? I guess Keeneland. I'm going to be betting him. I like that
Yeah.
last race, but from him against some really good horses too.
Yeah. No, it's yeah. I mean, these are the horses that I really look for. You know, you're coming off not 1 bad trip, but 2, and finally look like you're gonna get a good trip. But yeah, now maybe we get a 3rd no chance trip against the speed bias. Then he comes at Keeneland and make a killing on him. So
Right. Yeah, I like it. We'll see if the mile and a half speed bias holds up. Crazy you can have a speed bias at a mile and a half, but
I mean, some of these horses have been winning by like 8 lengths
yeah,
on turf.
it
It's
it
crazy.
it looks like on the outside curve, like they run uphill a little bit and then they come back downhill, right? It's like it
Yeah.
kind of goes up and down. It seems like on that downhill part, if you're far back, if you're like still coming up the hill or just getting to the top when other horses are going downhill, you're never catching them. Like it's impossible. It's insane.
Yeah, I agree. And that is one thing I will mention too is the in the past, like Kentucky Downs horses that look like they've run terrible races, their next start at Keeneland, their bombs come in all the time at Keeneland from horses.
Oh,
Exiting
absolutely. Yeah.
Kentucky Downs races, I always look extra hard at those horses because uh, made some good scores on those.
Yeah, there's going to be some off-pace horses and some stalkers that just didn't have a chance at Kentucky Downs that are going to get some good trips and Let's go to the next one, the number 7 mile maiden 170. This one looks kind of fun. I have a good long shot that I'm playing here for the win bet. What did you think of this though? If you don't mind going first.
Yeah, I like this race. I think I like maiden turf races. I think there's a lot of ways you can go. I'm against the one came from far back, just missed last time, but was 16-1. There's a really hot pace in that one. Um, so look, that race I think looks a lot better than it was, and it's going to be coming from far back again today, like we talked about. Same thing with the 3. Had some pace to run at, so I think it's a good maiden race. Maybe chuck the favorites out in the exacta and see if you can get some prices. I think I mean, I have a bunch of horses written down. I would spread in this race for like a pick 4 or 5 probably, but the one I'll put on top is the 12 Pax Americana. Stretching out for Brian Lynch. This one favored last time, bumped at the start. Um, I mean, kind of up close. Had a great trip. It's been well bet in 2 starts. Really well bred for the turf, and should have no problem with the distance. And exiting that sprint effort should get the lead in here. So um, Rosario's been riding horribly at Saratoga
Yeah.
and probably here too, but um, he's good if he can just go to the lead. I mean, sometimes he can't break well, but if he's on the lead, I have less of a problem with it because he can finish. He is a strong finisher in the stretch, but yeah. So I'll mention the 12, and then I'll mention the other ones after you.
Okay. I like the 12 too. I can't bet Joel here at Kentucky. He hasn't like pushed a horse out of the gate like any race. He's just sitting way too far back. He's killed some races that he had like good horse favorite
Oh, he's
horses to.
you don't have
It's
to
so
tell me he's
frustrating
good.
to
So
bet on him, dude. Yeah,
no,
but I think I like that horse.
yeah, like yeah, and it's frustrating because he'll throw in a great ride too. Like when you
Dude,
don't
he'll have a
like
really good second or
he
third, and you're like, all right, he's ready for this next one, and he just like sits at the back.
uh, yeah, it's painful.
I went with the horse inside of yours though, the 11 Cat Pays the Toll. This horse was in that race with the favorite, was on sitting on the front pace and tried to go a couple times mid race and got pinched hard at one point. Came back a couple lengths. It doesn't show up in the PP, but if you watch that replay, you'll see it. It looked like I think if it doesn't get pinched, it's probably right there for second or third. And it came in seventh, but only by 4 3/4 lengths. Um, this is a little cutback in distance, and if it can get that early fast pace again, it's going to be sitting on the front. I don't see almost any pace in this race from any of the horses that have ran before. The 7 with Lewin Machado, I'll say that Lewin, I saw him take a couple horses that are stalking horses and really get them going out the gate. So I think his horses are live from that perspective. I wasn't sold on Poema the 7, his horses race, even if he does send it. So I went with the horse that I saw has some good early speed. Edgar Morales has been good so far. Ian Wilkes has been good. His horses have shown up in the few races that he's had. So I think if this the 11 can get out early, it's probably the lone speed and might be able to just coast this home. That's what I'm hoping for at 20 to 1. Good workouts. I think it's just setting up for a little comeback spot against the favorite here.
Yep, that was definitely one of the ones wrote down. Yeah, I disagree. I mean, I don't know how Joel can't get the lead in here, just because. I mean, he was a length off 44 flat. Um, so I mean, and from the 12 post, you really don't have a decision. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I've seen him not before, but even if that one's tracking in second, I 100% agree that horse is live. I did like the 7 that you mentioned. Got a good rail trip last time, and I agree. Machado is riding really well. He picked up on the track, but that was a really slow pace at Indiana. And even though it got a good ground series trip, I thought that was really strong finish and late pace figure. So second time out, I think she is a little dangerous. Um, and then yeah, the one other one is a 5 Daisy Flyer. Um, First race looked like a prep last time at Ellis. Just kind of was way far back, wide, and slow pace. Kind of finished up fine. Second career race, George Arnold, 22% with plus $1.11 ROI on the year. That's with 94 starters, so that's a pretty big sample size and pretty big ROI for second time starters. And this one's well bred for the turf. I mean, similar to Rosario, Julian Leperoux probably. I mean, if he's not aggressive like he usually is, she'll probably be too far back. But I think she's gonna improve a lot in this race.
Okay, I like that pick. I didn't look too closely at that one. Yeah, I'm kind of Julie and some of these guys. I don't know. I just can't watch them sit 6 length back the whole race and do the same thing every race. But he's only listed as having 2 races at Kentucky Downs on the Brisnet. I think he's had more, right? This isn't updated, maybe. Let me check.
Um, yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, it says he's got 2 seconds, so he does seem to ride a little bit better in Kentucky than anywhere else. But yeah, I'm still not a
Okay,
fan
yeah,
either.
he's got 9 starts, 3 seconds, 1/3. I don't know why this Brisnet thing isn't updated.
Yeah, that's annoying.
But anyway, yeah, this is a fun race. First maiden weight race in a while that I've looked at and thought like, hey, I can kind of see a setup for this race that lets me get a long shot in. And I don't like the favorite. I don't like number 1. It's going to be too far back, I think. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Now to the last one, the 9, race 9, the One Dreamer, Jeff Ruby One Dreamer, $500,000 stake race. I saw this as like a lot of these Kentucky Downs races. I'm just looking for who gets on the front and sets up some slow fractions and then runs it home. And I didn't see a lot of speed in this race. This was one of the tougher races for me to break down. I think at least one of these horses are getting scratched. The 3, Regal Realm, already ran a race and is still listed in the Brisnet. So I don't know what's up with that, but that'll mean the 13 gets in. I'm not sure if the 14 gets in. If she does, I really like her in this race. Might be my top choice, but in case she doesn't get in, I have another choice that I'll go with, which is the 9, Stir Crazy. I am going with a little off pace here, but not too far back. The 3 races that she's had with Jose, he's got her within 2 lengths at the stretch, which you have to do here. And I think she should be able to. I don't see the fractions in this race being too crazy. Some of the like that the Regal Realm's going to scratch. That's a speed horse. the horse I had underneath that's starting would be the 5 Sister Luann, Safi Joseph horse. His horses just haven't been firing, but even she isn't like she's not putting up crazy fractions when she gets to the front, and she's been running in a lot of smaller field races. So I think should be just a couple lengths off the leader at worst, even and has finished into some slower paces anyway recently. My main concern is that she's going off of Lasix here, and I don't know her history off it. It looks like she hasn't had many races, but she's cutting back in distance, and I think that downhill turn kind of makes up for any endurance issues the horses might have if they're coming off of Lasix for these stakes races at Kentucky Downs. I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue. It's a cutback in distance. She's going to be running downhill, probably a slow pace or a average pace. I like Jose on her, and he's been teaming up with Mike Maker at 35%. So I took a little shot. I wanted to get long shots for these win bets, and I didn't like the speed horses in this race. I really couldn't get behind any of them. Anatolian has been at longer distances and pretty slow fractions for the most part, so I don't think she's going to be near the front as she has in her longer races. Safine, when she goes to the front, it's really slow, and she doesn't get challenged in those races. They've been smaller fields for the most part, and when she does get challenged, she falls off. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the 9 start crazy, but I would definitely look at the she's looking lucky to 14 as a good speed horse if she gets into the race. What'd you make of this one?
Yeah, no, I agree. Um, yeah, I think especially if that scratch, like you said, happens, I think there's got to be at least a little bit of pace, just because, especially if you get the 13 and the 14, and the 11's gonna go. I mean, 11's pretty quick, I think. I mean, this is shorter distances than a lot of these horses are going, so I kind of get that too. They're even though they like to be forwardly placed, there's really not going to be fast fractions. But I mean, 11, 12, or 11, yeah, 11, 12, 13, 14. If combination of those are in, I still think they're going to be kind of pressing each other wide. And I don't know if they're going to get the best trips, but
Mm-hmm.
I definitely agree. If one of those shakes loose, they're going to be very dangerous. I definitely have the 9. I had that one circled second. Um, yeah, it's just, I mean, she's in the best form. She's kind of
Mm-hmm.
wins on a sloppy track, was pretty dominant in that Churchill race, and then just missed closing into a slow pace last time. And Jose's been riding really well at this meet. He'll probably have her a little bit more forwardly placed. Um, Pop Papilio 7-2. Cassie 0 for 5 or 0 for 5. I'm not sure if that's updated. It's probably not. If that other one wasn't updated, his horses were yeah, his horses were all. I mean, he never wins at Saratoga, and he was like hitting at like 33% this meet. So he did kind of tail off a little bit the last week or two, but um, yeah, this filly I think is a good bet against. I mean, I've been a fan of her, and just annoying because I think she wants to cut back in distance. Last year, I thought she just continued to get bad trip after bad trip by Castellano. He'd make an early wide move, and then she just kind of flatten out. Um, so definitely a horse that I think the like mile distance where she can just make a wicked move, and doesn't have to sustain it for as long, but definitely wants to come from too far back. So yeah, I like the way you were thinking. Um, I had the 3 written down, but I didn't know that that one was going to scratch. So yeah, I think 9 I think is the play in here for me, and then probably the 11. I just think she's the quickest with Pratt. And even though I don't think she's very good, I think with the bias and Pratt, she might be able to just steal it or work out a great trip.
Yeah, I had the 11. I wanted to go with her bad, and I'll include her for sure in like any exact or daily double I'm doing. Yeah, she might be able to just steal it with the bias. That happened to me on a race the other day where I bet Smoking Tea, thinking he was going to be just off the pace and a bit stronger horse, and that Gilead horse just like you can't catch them when they're on the front. It doesn't matter if they've came up short in every other race. It doesn't matter like their late pace is horrible. You're just not catching these horses once they get a couple lengths lead early. I like that. I like the 11 though. I think she's got a live shot in here just riding that bias, especially with Flavian Pratt. Let me drop the soundboard for Flavian. Oh, updated stat by the way. Mark Cassie, 0 of 9, not in the money once at Kentucky Downs
Okay,
Ranch.
so yeah, that's a definite toss as a favorite then. I mean,
Yeah.
that makes sense. He probably used all his juice at Saratoga and is taking it easy. He's not bringing his best horses here.
Yeah, I think he's got to just throw in some long shots at the races, seeing what sticks. Flavian's 1 of 7, 1/3, by the way.
Yeah, but at Saratoga, he's
Yeah.
90%.
No, yeah, I like him coming in here. Yeah, I like the 12 too. Early speed, I just couldn't get there. The kind of problem I had with 11 and 12 is the races I saw with them, and their PP shows it a little bit, is they really slow up in the late pace. So they're going to have 4 or 5 lengths lead. Maybe the 11 could do that, possibly.
I think the 11's the only one that can get really loose. Even though the 13's been on the lead, it has been really slow paces and going longer distances. I mean, Delaware was 50 flat last time. It was yielding, but still 48 and 4. And this is going shorter, so maybe now that I keep looking at it, I mean, first time turf, the 12, hidden connection. Not really the strongest turf breeding, but maybe if you think this is a pretty weak field, I mean, this one's been keeping pretty good company on dirt. 2 back at Indiana. I thought that was a really good third. Set a hot pace in that one. Held on for third, so I take the blinkers off, but definitely has early speed, and maybe that one goes to the front and gets in the try or something.
Yeah, I'm probably throwing any exact third daily double. I'm throwing the horse I like on, and then I'm throwing on any early speed. So I'll probably throw in 11, 12, 13, 14. Like if they get into the race, they're all going into the exacta, the $1 exacta. Also, I wanted to mention, and I forgot, in that 5 race with the Relampago Verde, one of the reasons I think I liked Relampago a little bit more was in his last race at Saratoga, it was a mile and 3/8. That's a 3-turn race, which like that mile and a half at Kentucky Downs might have been as well. But I feel like horses with that extra turn in them coming into Kentucky Downs, like they're gonna love those sharp corners, and that outside turn on the lead is gonna be treating them well. But yeah, I went race 5, Relampago Verde. That's the win bet. I like the 9. I'd rather be blessed. Watch out for any of the early speed horses. Drop them in your exactas, your daily doubles. Race 7, the maiden race, I like Cat pays the toll at 20-1. And then the race 9, I like Stir Crazy with some of the speed horses underneath, the 5, Sister Luann, Angel Nut Chico, the 11, the 12, the 13, the 14. Any of those speed horses underneath, I think, it's a good bet right now.
Yep. Yeah, the race 5, I like the 5. Clyde's got a gun. Race 7, I like the 11 and 12. I definitely agree with that 11. Cat pays the toll 20-1, and 12 packs Americana 5-1, and then couple of those in there that we talked about underneath, and then the last I like the 9 and the 11, Stir Crazy and Angel Nadeshiko.
All right, sweet. Thanks for dropping some cold nuggets of knowledge with this conductor.
Anytime. Need some rest. Saratoga took all my strength.
Yeah, throw some little $1 exacta bets at Kentucky Downs and just wait it out for Keeneland.
Yeah, I'll look at Del Mar this weekend too. We get some good opportunities. I'll take a
Oh
swing, but
yeah, and
other than that,
the
I'll be.
Santa Anita meet in a month.
Yeah, it is good that I think Del Mar closes this weekend, and then get a couple weeks off from the major tracks, and then Churchill starts, and Santa Anita, and yeah. So, and then kind of into the Breeders' Cup, Keeneland. So, fun time of year. And you got football back, so
So full time gambling.
yeah, pretty much, just the way I like it.